Go live. Good morning, everybody. This is Jackie Calixte from CTA Digital Marketing. Welcome. Today, we're going to be talking about the success mindset, and we're going to have Loretta Williams. She's a mentor and financial coach. She has a huge Facebook group called Positive Entrepreneurs. So, we're going to be talking about positivity, especially during this difficult time. And then also, we have David Rahman Mind Coach and international speaker. We're just waiting for him to join. Some technical difficulties. For myself, I design websites, I design apps, and right now I'm concentrating on doctor's office. If you know any doctor who needs a revamp of a website, please let me know. And I guess we'll get started. If you have any questions, please feel free to post, and I'll definitely make sure we send them over to our guest panels. And also, if you'd like to be part of the panel, let me know. I can also send you an invite. So let me bring on our guest, Miss Loretta. Um, what am I doing? Here we go. Hi, Loretta.
Hi,
Introduce this. Thank you. Thank you for joining me this morning. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me this morning.
Oh, this is great. I guess basically I'll just have some basic questions. If you could tell us a little bit about yourself, your business, how you got started, and how you help small businesses right now.
So, a little bit about myself is I am Loretta. I have my master's in business administration with a concentration in management and entrepreneurship. How I got started with the whole financial coaching and mentoring. Well, I'll start with the financial coaching first. I got started with that actually when I was a lot younger. Um, I would help actually my family with their finances. I would help do things like save their money, put together budgets, and just put together financial plans to help them reach their financial goals. And I was doing this for years at a very young age. So I was like, well, this is something I'm clearly passionate about because I can do it for free, right? And I said, well, why not attach a price tag to something that I already love to do? And that's how it got started with the financial coaching. It was something that I already loved to do. It was something that I was already doing, and it started at home with my family. And I just wanted to share the resources and the tools that I have and the passion that I have for helping people reach their financial goals with everyone. Um,
We have a
I
little
just
bit of feedback. I don't know if you can hear it.
say that again.
Do you hear the feedback? Is it just me?
No,
Is
I
it?
think it's just you. I don't hear.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. So I seen that in my community, like there was a lack of financial resources or help in that area, and I wanted to be that person that helped my community like reach their financial goals because that's something that is lacking. That is something that is lacking in our community. So
It is. You're absolutely right.
yeah,
Those are essential tools to have today. It's
absolutely.
and to kind of prosper. So thank you so much for what you're doing. And hi, David. Hi. Thanks for joining us.
Hello.
Hi, David.
Morning. How are you?
Good, 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 good. Um,
Um,
I was just asking Loretta just to tell us a little bit about herself, introduce herself, and how she got started in business. Um, if you don't mind, too, can you just tell us a little bit about what you do and how you got started and how you help small businesses out?
yeah, sure. Yeah, I work as a mind coach. So I started in 2004 when I would say that for a large part of my life, I had a lot of emotional issues, stress, anxiety, low self-esteem, and whatnot. And then I wanted to I wanted to try to help people, so I trained as a coach. So yeah, about 16 years ago. And I started helping people, and I found out that people have the similar sort of problems wherever you are in the world. We're all human beings. We have problems and issues, and those stem from the past in terms of how our mindset works. So I started working with people who are professionals, who are in businesses, and people in businesses, they have different challenges, and I started doing workshops and one-to-one sessions, helping people change the way they think about themselves. Because how we in business, how people buy people, so they are very interested in. If you're a business owner, people are very interested in who you are as a person, and they're they pick up on your energy, the way you are, how you present yourself, and as business owners, we often devalue ourselves, and we don't uh, we don't put ourselves forward, and we don't help our business because we don't help ourselves. So I love doing that, and yeah, that's how I got into it. Really, it's a lot more to it, but in a nutshell, that's how I started.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And Loretta, how are you helping businesses right now in this current pandemic? I love your Facebook group, Positive Entrepreneurs. Uh, I like how everything is positive. There are struggles. We are going through a lot, especially right now. But how are you helping people kind of just maintain that positive outlook on what's happening?
So what we're doing is we are still, of course, we're still doing our day-to-day stuff, right? Asking those questions, providing those resources, making sure that people are up to date on what's going on as it relates to COVID-19 and, the resources that are available through the government. We're sharing those through the Positive Entrepreneurs Group. Also, we are trying to put together like a virtual networking meetup thing where we as business owners can collaborate and just get together and shoot ideas, because during this time, yes, we're still, some of us are open still. And so we still have that opportunity and that time to reflect and to, try to bounce ideas off of people while we still can. Um, yeah, we're just there to help support businesses. If that is having a conversation, if that is helping them in areas where they're lacking and they're noticing them. So that's what we're doing.
Thank you. And then and David, this question it's a lot where we're going through COVID.
Mhm.
It's a global pandemic. Um, businesses have been shut down for months now. Some people have lost businesses. There's a lot of loss from people losing loved ones, people losing their businesses, people losing their freedom. There's a lot of things happening on TV. There's a lot of injustice. There's protest. There's riots. There's inequality. Business owners are just, there's a lot coming to business owners. I mean, even just trying to figure out what to do with the loans. There's tons of loans the governments are putting out there, but it's like you need a PhD to figure out what's happening, getting the right resources. And then there's business owners, like I was talking to Loretta, her mom owns a restaurant, where you might have to make hard decisions. Should you keep going? How do you deal with all these emotions?
Yeah.
How do you handle what's
David.
going on and keep on track of the business?
Yeah, I mean that's a good question. At this time, where we're in a situation where, as you said, there's a pandemic. In UK, we've got a lockdown, so different countries are in different states, and then we've got the injustice which has happened in the states, and we feel it we feel it strongly over here, and people's emotions are up in the air. An interesting statistic was in the UK, so perhaps it's very similar in America. At the best of times, 1 in 4 people have a mental health issue or an emotional issue. So managing our emotions at the best of times is difficult, let alone in the middle of a pandemic. And I think initially what we've got to do is there's so much going on in our lives. So, we have to live in a lockdown. We have to live with our family members. We can't do the things we want to do. So normal life has massively been disrupted. And then we've got the business side of it. The businesses are closing, the future's uncertain, whether businesses are going to come back. And it's a struggle. So managing emotions, what we've got to try initially to do, though, is manage ourselves. Because what we often try and do is control the external environment. So, which is very difficult to control because it's like controlling the weather. It just is. What we can do is to look at our own emotions. I actually, funny enough, I did do a little slideshow. Could I share some slides to show people? Or
Sure. If you look down, you can see share screen.
Let me just share some things with the viewers if I could, and then share. Okay, share. Just something I put together to help people understand. Right, so hopefully you can see my screen and get the Facebook off. Right. So yeah, I put this together because I wanted to for business to understand what our emotions and businesses in the world today, all over the world, are emotionally struggling and obviously financially struggling because the times have changed. I believe this is disruption. My belief is this is disruption, and things will only get better. There's a lot of disruption at the moment, but our emotions have to be focused on things will be better. So if you imagine that you've got a pack of playing cards on the table and you just throw them up in the air, that's our emotions at the moment, where we've thrown them up in the air. And our daily we have different emotions. Some days we feel good, and some days we don't feel good. And we use the word emotions, and just think about what are emotions? What are they? And if we look at emotions, they are energy in motion. So sometimes we are upbeat. There are good days and we're feeling high energy, and other days we're feeling very, very low. And that's why some business owners, some days they pick up the phone and make calls. Some days they take action, and some days they don't take action. This is happening continuously all the time. So there might be people out there who are taking action or not taking action. And if we look at this is impacting on our decisions. So our decisions that we make every day are very, very much emotionally based. But at the moment, people they're clouded, cautious, and uncertain. So some days we've got clouded vision.
Oh yeah.
Some days we're very, very cautious. And there's a lot of uncertainty. And some days you know you've got to do something, like make that call, and you just don't do it, or you're too slow doing it because you feel frightened. We feel frightened, and it's a sickening feeling at times because there's no consistency at the moment. For the viewers, our feelings are here. Our emotions and feelings are in this part. So we have something called a blueprint, which is it's something that I wanted to explain to the viewers so they could make more sense of it, rather than being a slave to their emotions. That we have thoughts being produced every day. These have been radically changed over the last few months. Our feelings are all over the place, and therefore our behaviors can be all over the place. Now, the question I can propose to everybody out there is, why have some people fared better than others? We're talking emotionally here.
That's a great question.
Through this difficult time, even though they've got similar circumstances.
Yeah.
So there are some people out there who have, they have a business. It's not going well. They have another person who has an equivalent business, equivalent circumstances. Again, it's not going well, but one is emotionally feeling better than the other. We see that, and
right.
Poor emotions can lead to poor decisions. So you might have one business owner making making better decisions because they are emotionally more, they're more at the races, shall we say. They are able to manage their emotions. And I wanted to introduce to people out there, perhaps they've seen this before, perhaps they haven't, but it's why some people are faring better at this moment than others. Because there are some business owners out there who are not doing very well, but they're happy. But they really want to move forward, and they're taking action, continual action, even though they're not seeing the results. They're taking the action. There are some owners out there who are frozen with fear, and they're not taking action. But the circumstances are exactly the same. So why is this happening? So I just wanted to introduce to people something called emotional intelligence, or EQ, and what is emotional intelligence. Any ideas, guys? What do you think emotional intelligence is? Not doing very well, but they have. Pardon?
That was me. I apologize. I was looking on Facebook Live for questions.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the feedback that comes back in 2 hours. So I'll just close it out.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Any of you guys, Jackie or
emotional intelligence? I'm thinking like if you're intuitive with others, like
okay,
can you sense other people's pain, happiness? How in tune are you to others' feelings?
Absolutely. I mean, that's definitely a great answer. If you apply to us and also to them, then it's the ability to understand, use, and manage your own emotions, whilst also being aware of the emotions of others.
Oh, okay.
So it's a form of intelligence. Over the years, we've been asking, people have thought that only the people with high IQs will conquer the world, but there's plenty of people out there with fancy degrees who are on the scrap heap of life because they have a low EQ, an emotional quotient. So is it being seen as more relevant than IQ, especially now? Is your emotional quotient being seen as more relevant right at the moment and in normal times? Yes, it is. It's seen as very, very important. So what the question I want to ask the viewers and the listeners out there, just to ask themselves, where do I lack consistency at the moment? Where do I lack consistency? So is it something that you're not assertive enough? Is it that you say you're going to do something, you don't do it? Do you find yourself procrastinating all the time? Are you clearly, you start one project but never finish it, you start something else? This is all to do with more awareness, digging deep into your emotions. What am I trying to avoid? So we've got emotions out there.
Maybe some people are scared.
Yes. So what are they scared of? What fear, what emotion are they trying to avoid? And it's something which is, you get some people have more, they're trying to avoid failure. So they have a fear of failure. Some people, they're trying to avoid rejection. And these emotions have been heightened during this time. And these are 7 key emotions that people are feeling even more at this time. Rejection, not good enough, failing, succeeding. Some people have a problem at the best of times in succeeding. What happens if I succeed? What's going to happen to the people around me? Will they still like me? Guilt, shame, and anger. And these are all from the past. But these have actually definitely heightened right at this time, more than ever. And what I would say to people is, if they could anybody out there is watching, get a pen and paper and just write down the answers to what actually do you actually feel at this moment in time in terms of your emotions. You feel in your emotions. What do you feel? What's going on under the surface, and actually what you want. What you want.
Okay.
I want.
I do have a viewer, Stephen. He has a question here for you.
Yeah.
Actually, let me see. I've fallen behind my questioning here. I'm so sorry. First of all, Teresa said, good morning. Hi, Teresa.
Good morning.
Hi, Teresa. Good morning.
And then she said, what a great analogy with the cards.
Thank you.
When you throw up the cards and then that's happening. That's what's happening with our emotions.
Yeah.
And then Stephen said, hello, Loretta. Do you think it's a good time to think of ways to improve your small business during the pandemic?
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is the time where we aren't doing as much, where we aren't as busy. And so I would take this time to definitely see or check out ways to improve your business. And you may even have to tailor it or change your business, the method of doing business to gain more clients. So absolutely.
Awesome. And then for David, I asked because I was starting up my own nonprofit and I'm thinking about waiting a little longer because I've developed some better ideas.
I asked because I was starting up my own nonprofit. I'm thinking about waiting a little longer because I've developed some better ideas.
Yeah.
Well, Stephen, at the end of the day, really powerful way of doing it is write down all your ideas. Write down all your ideas and just feel which one. What we tend to do is we spend our time locked up in our head and we overthink things. There are three centers of learning, or three centers of being, really. Our brain, our heart, because we do have an emotional feelings, and also our gut feeling. So whenever I come to this, say I have this quandary, Stephen, I would ask my gut. So write down your ideas, and if you get yourself an A1 sheet, write down your ideas, and then ask your gut feeling. Because how many times in the past have we had a gut feeling, not followed it, and then regretted it? Or look back thinking, why did I overthink that? My gut feeling was right all the time. So it might be worth you just getting some clarity on what you need. In terms of better ideas, then you'll be able to then decide, make a decision. It's about making a decision, really, Stephen, and then running with a decision. I think a lot of people tend to wait for the perfect idea,
Right.
a perfect storm to happen.
Yeah. And is there a perfect time to do anything?
Absolutely not. I think this is a great time, Stephen, for all of us to not only work on ourselves, but also work on our business. It's a great time.
Right.
It's not an easy time. I'm not saying it's easy. It's hugely challenging. And for want of a better word, we have to pivot. So, for example, my business is completely online now. So I coach people online. My workshops are online. So I knew I had to pivot straight away. It is about taking action, Stephen.
Awesome. And then for me, I started the Facebook Live because of what's going on right now. The local networking group that we have, it was harder to meet. Obviously, we couldn't meet in person. So we had to start using online tools, Zoom meetings, Facebook Live, different ways to get ourselves out there. So it's a difficult time, but maybe it's also an opportunity, depending on how you look at it too. Can you hear me? I'm also the tools. I'm going through the tools. I want to see another user's question here. Stephen says, true, and thanks so much, guys. Thanks for the advice. And sorry, David. Now, if you want, you can continue. Do you want to go ahead with the presentation?
Yeah, let's see. Right. What I'll do is, excuse me for 1 second.
Is it sharing?
Let me just. Just screen. Yeah. Okay, great. I hope we're sharing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
There we go.
So everyone out there, I mean, I always believe that you have to start with yourself. We can't control what's going on outside of us. We can control how we feel. Feelings or emotions are huge for us. Think of little improvements you can do to your business every single day. And sometimes we stop ourselves from making that call, sending that email. We put it off, we procrastinate, all because we have a doom and gloom scenario. So what I would say to yourselves, what are the 4 areas you need to develop the emotional quotient, which is basically handling your emotions. Number 1 is self-management, making decisions. So, for example, at the outset of the lockdown, I was just mentoring business owners to get them into a routine. It's hugely important for us to have a daily routine and not to succumb to what can I say, putting things off. So just if you're going to start work, if you normally start work at 8:30 or 9 o'clock in the day, then start at that time. But only that, dress up to go to work. Actually get into a routine. So routine is very important for our brain. Very important for our brain. Because if we let our routine go, we'll start letting our business go. And it then becomes very, very difficult to rein it back in. So decision is really important. Decision, self-management. That's about you taking control of your daily routine. The second one is self-awareness. Paying attention to your emotions, because our emotions are, if you think about it, our emotions are the body's physical chemical response to how you're thinking at that time.
How about if you don't know what's bothering you? You know, like for me, when stress occurs, so the whole fight flight,
Yeah.
I don't fight or flight or run away. I freeze. It's like,
Yeah.
it's like, I don't know, like a possum, right? I freeze till the danger's gone. And when the danger's gone, I get up. But I never really understand why. Like,
fight, flight, freeze.
mm-hmm.
You have to be honest with yourself. And some people, to be frank with you, aren't honest with themselves. You have to look at what am I scared of? What am I scared of?
Right.
And if somebody's not picking up the phone, for example, or sending an email, what are you scared of? Is it rejection? Is it not being liked? What is it? Is it failure? What are you scared of? Even the act of writing it down can disempower that emotion. What am I scared of?
Right. That makes sense. So journaling to journal every day to just kind of keep in touch with your emotions and be aware of what's happening.
Be aware of what's happening. And what you can do is you can buddy up. Sometimes I get clients to buddy up. And actually, after they've journaled, after they've got some key points, they can then have a telephone interaction to actually ask each other questions about what's going on under the surface for each other. Because once somebody highlights your emotions to yourself, it can help you disempower the emotions. You can look at some of the thinking and you can actually observe your thoughts and realize how ridiculous are my thoughts. But they're old thoughts. Jack and Loretta, we have a lot of old patterns of behavior and thinking from the past, but they're automated. It's just like driving. We don't drive a car anymore. It just drives itself. We're thinking about other things when we're driving. So self-awareness, paying attention is very important. Social awareness, obviously, to observe yourself socially, which we do primarily in this country anyway, online, and obviously relationship management. Those are 4 areas where we can actually be more decisive and observant. Empathy, as we talked about earlier on, it's the ability to empathize with people and to understand what's going on.
I find this is hard. Like, I mean, it shouldn't be hard, but I find what happens with people, my personal observation is unless they don't go through it themselves, they don't understand it. So like let's say with COVID, if it hasn't impacted somebody on a personal level where they've lost a loved one or they know somebody who's got it,
Yeah.
It's almost dismissive. Well, maybe it's a conspiracy, or maybe the government's overreacting, or maybe they don't seem to relate to something unless they've gone through it. How can you be more empathetic? Let's say if it's something that you don't know how, that comes naturally. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So empathy is something that you can learn, that
Yeah.
you can research, you can. Everyone has an opinion. Everyone has a belief system inside, and our ability as human beings to be as compassionate and to be able to look through the eyes of someone else can be improved. There's a technique called the two-chair technique, which you can use for various things. If you can imagine two chairs in a room, so you're sitting in one chair and the other chair is empty, and then you can, if you want to empathize with a particular person, and you're sitting in your chair, and if you take some deep breaths and just go into a relaxed state for yourself, and you're looking through the world through your eyes, and then if you can imagine another person in the other chair, there's somebody you're thinking about, but you're having trouble empathizing with that person, you can then go and sit in their chair, close your eyes, breathe, and open up your eyes, and you can visualize looking at the world through their eyes. It's a very powerful technique.
Wow.
It allows you to look through the world through their eyes, because you've anchored that chair. It's called anchoring. You've anchored that chair to them.
Right.
So, for example, in your house, you might have your favorite armchair in the living room, and that's Jackie's chair. Jackie sits there, So when you've anchored this chair to this particular person, you can then look through your eyes, because at the end of the day, empathy is experience the world through their eyes.
Right.
And able then to, it's not sympathy, empathy is different, it's actually understanding their world, because we've all got different worlds. So that's one way of doing it, Jackie.
Okay, that's awesome. That's really good, because I want to be able to provide our users with tools on how to do certain things. It could be doing your taxes, but also emotions, especially now, are powerful and just as relevant as those technical things that come with running your business day to day, right? Managing your own emotions, managing your employees' emotions, being sympathetic to different causes that are happening around you while you're also going through whatever you're going through. I find this is good to use that chair technique. I like that. I like that.
Yeah. When you're able to empathize with other people, you're able to understand them. But the first person we have to understand is ourselves.
That's true, because it all starts with us.
It's very difficult to actually understand other people when we don't even understand ourselves. And self-awareness is a huge, there's a huge shift on the planet now with self-awareness. We're learning more about ourselves during the pandemic, but also we're learning to connect better. And I believe that we are learning to support each other like never before. There's been a huge shift. It's not a good time, but when when there's disruption, there's usually a good shift forward from that. Instead of talking, we're now doing. And that's what we need to do. Yeah. And this is why we're doing these online workshops, because we're the face-to-face, the interactions in terms of live, in person are over for the time being. But we can change the world by doing this sort of thing.
Exactly.
And more people to spend more time with the right people.
And then it all starts within ourselves, working within ourselves to make those particular changes, making sure we're aware of our own emotions. And in that way, it's easier to actually, have a better understanding of what's going on.
Yeah, and there's something called the average of 5, which sociologists and psychologists often talk about. You're the average of the 5 people. Your average emotionality is the average of the 5 people you hang around with. So,
Ooh,
if you
I like that one. So getting rid of toxic people.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's something called the average of 5, which is I've taught for years, when you have to think about the 5 people. Normally, it's somebody you work with, you see every day. Your for argument's sake, your wife, your husband, your your next door neighbor, somebody. The 5 people you're interacting with. It could be somebody you're talking to by text a lot. WhatsApp, somebody you talk to on Messenger, or what? It doesn't matter. Who are the 5 people you're communicating with every day? So this time it's going to be different. So who are the 5 people you're communicating with? Because you are being influenced by those 5 people. How what they're saying, what they're talking, how they're feeling, their emotions are impacting on you. So we're under, I don't want to use the word attack, but we're under the influence of others, and we've got to be super aware of that. So who you hang around with really does affect your emotions. Yeah, because your brain has something called mirror neurons, which are involved with empathy, or involved with that you're able to see the world through the other person. People can Google that, mirror neurons, and you'll see that it's all real stuff. Our brain is hardwired to pick up on other people's emotions as well. Yeah.
And that's a great point, because I'm thinking about the news media, and we have nothing else to do but to be online and to be on Facebook and the news, and that is also having its impact the way, having those people, the toxic people around you would have an impact.
100%. An exercise that I teach is called the average of 5. So you think about the 5 people who are impacting on you at the moment, and you put a cross next to it if they're disempowering. You put a tick next to the name if they empower you, or you put a mixture of a cross and a tick if they do a bit of both.
Oh my God!
Yeah, and then you come back. Then we speak a week later, and then they say, "I can't believe how many negative people are in my life." And if when you observe it and you're aware, this starts to wake up, and then you realize, ooh. So that's why I think
if it's family members.
I was going to ask that question.
Yeah, that's always a good question. You know what? People said, "Oh, when I visit my mum, she makes me feel like shit." Oh, and you just there's nothing you can do about it except limit your time. There's people pleasers out there who feel obliged to go and visit someone, and then they leave the house feeling drained and resentful. But the only way you can do it is respect your own time and limit it. That's and in terms of whoever
you just have to limit it.
Yeah, and in terms of people who live with you, well, I can't help you there.
Yeah.
You're married to them. That's something different. That's a different kettle of fish. But I think you know what I mean.
Yeah, very, very good. So a big part of it too is limiting your, consumption of the news media, or at least being selective, right?
Very selective.
Yeah, because some of them have different messages too, right? Because you're gonna absorb that energy too. If it's fear, then you get off the news. You get off at just like, it's end of the world.
Have you ever watched something on TV and it's made you angry?
Oh God, yeah.
You watch something and made you depressed. So it immediately can change your moods, emotions.
Yeah.
So if I were to say to any business owners, what percentage of the news is positive? There's hardly any. So why are you watching the news?
Right.
Again, it's a choice.
Mhm.
I'm not here to tell people not to watch the news. It really is a choice. You've got a business to run.
Right.
You've got a family to take care of, and you want to be in the best place up there
Mhm.
and there. Do you want to be influenced by the negative news? It's up to you, and it is a choice. It is, clearly a choice. Sonny Lyubomirsky in the University of California, Berkeley, California. She's a psychologist there, and she wrote a book called The How of Happiness. And the number one factor, I'll just give you the results straight off. The number one factor which influences our life is choice. Our happiness is what we choose to do every day. Yeah, it's not money, it's not cars. Those are all very nice, but they give you short-term happiness. It's at the end of the day, it's choice. Yeah, choice.
So during this emotional time, we have a choice on how we monitor our emotion and how that's going to drive our behavior and how we can cope as a business owner.
100%. Yeah, 100%. It's I'm sure you guys know people who are struggling in business, but they're good people to be around. They still try and encourage you, and they still try and help you. And I'm sure you know people in business who are in equally challenging conditions, but who are not very nice to talk to at the moment because they're inside they're feeling challenged. So really, I've always been optimistic, and I think the world is changing for the better.
Mm-hmm.
I'm focused on. For me, I do, as you know, I do free workshops every single day, because I want to help people. I believe people need to be helped, and as long as they help themselves, I want to help them.
And that's what I love about Loretta's group, the fact that she focuses on that positivity.
Yeah.
And Loretta, have you ever had to kick somebody out of your group where you found that I don't really like the message that they're...
Yes. There have been times where people, they bring a negative vibe, or they aren't necessarily focused on the positive outlook when it comes to business. And yes, I don't just kick them out without warning. I warn them first. And then if it continues, because like David was speaking about, it is a mindset, it is a choice. I have to remove you from the group because it can be like a cancer, and I don't want it to affect the whole body, the rest of the group. So yes, I've had to remove people from the group.
That is so true. It can be like a cancer. It can. It's like David was saying, with the 5 people around you, it starts infecting all the other different members. And then if emotions are what controls your behavior, then people's behaviors are going to be different if they're not having a positive outlook. That makes sense. My group is mostly just technical tools, and it's not that big yet. I haven't had to reach that level, but I do understand, and I do see in my personal journey as a business owner, my mindset, my emotions, and what happens depending where I'm at. I do see how that impacts the next action that I take. It's really actually quite amazing. The business partners that I work with, they told me certain things that I didn't listen in the beginning. And a big part of it was mindset. And now I'm realizing, well, you have to have that in check. Like David, you're saying routine. That's a big part of it, right? Because if you have that routine and then you're feeling more productive, you're feeling more efficient, and then your mood actually changes. So there is a whole process outside of, registering your business as an LLC, getting an accountant, getting a bank account. There is like a huge emotional part of it that drives you to those behaviors as a business owner. So I just wanted to open up the platform for other people who are kind of struggling with what to do right now. If they're questioning themselves, if they're doubting themselves, if they're scared, confused, how do you take those emotions and bring them in and be able to move?
Yeah, and as you say, doubts, worries, fears.
Yeah.
This is all precursor to change. And you do have a choice. You can either run away,
Mm-hmm.
you can freeze, or you can actually take action.
Yeah.
And I would always recommend the last. Take action. Take action. We're in a dark tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know what's happening, but keep moving forward. Keep moving forward. And I say this to myself every day because we're still in lockdown here. And I wake up and I think, is this a bad dream? No, we're still here. We're still here. Okay. And I do my routine in the morning, go running. By the way, exercise for all business entrepreneurs out there, exercise is key. Richard Branson, you might know Richard Branson is a billionaire, owns Virgin Airlines.
Mm-hmm.
He was asked recently, what's the number one thing which you would recommend to any entrepreneur on a daily basis to do? And he said, exercise. Exercise.
Fantastic.
And
get those endorphins running, moving.
Yeah, 100%. When you exercise, you have endorphins, norepinephrine, epinephrine. You have dopamine. You have dopamine, serotonin, and anandamide, which is the bliss hormone. So you have a whole cocktail of very nice hormones going on.
All the positivity.
Yes. It helps you stay focused. It's really important, and that's what he said. Because I exercise because it clears my head.
Yeah.
Again, helps with his emotions, and good emotions make good decisions.
Good emotions make good decisions. That's fantastic. Well, that pretty much sums it up, right?
Yeah.
Good emotions makes good decisions, and that's what you want to be able to do as a business owner. Wow, we actually have been going here for about 47 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah. Is that good?
Conversation. Really, really great conversation.
Fantastic. Are there any questions about anything else that they wanted to?
No, I didn't get any of the questions. That was it. Stephen did mention that he was having, remember when you had the little chart about what you're having difficulties with? He said advertising.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe I could talk to Stephen about that. Because that's my forte.
Yes.
Yeah. We can talk about the advertising.
Connect with Jackie. She can help you with that.
What's that?
Say connect with Jackie. She can help you with that.
Connected us. Thanks, Loretta. You did. I can definitely help him.
Do you find that people are afraid to put themselves out there? Or actually they're, for one reason or another, whether it be fear of failure or fear of success, they're afraid to take that step. And in this case, advertising, they're afraid. Do you find that at all, Jackie?
Oh my goodness, yeah. I struggle. The biggest thing that I struggle with business owners is the tools are there, the technology is there. They even have the money to be able to, advertise their products. It's the business owner's mindset that's not in the right space.
So what would you say is the common mindset problem that's stopping them from wanting to advertise?
Loretta?
Loretta. David, a lot of what I come across, especially within my group, is a lot of entrepreneurs. They feel like they can conquer it all, and they feel like they can do it all, and they don't really want anyone or trust anyone to trust another company to do that service for them as diligently as they believe that they can.
So are you saying they don't like to delegate?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's trusting other people and other companies, and being able to delegate is something like huge, especially for established entrepreneurs.
Because
especially established ones, because it's worked in the past, right?
what you guys could ask your clients or your members is, if it's a trust issue, and what are they fearing is going to happen? What are they fearing? What are they trying to avoid is going to happen? Because trust is all, if you think about it, trust is all future-based, all based in the future. Can I share some with you quickly?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, I'll just show you this model, if I can find it. Oh. This is from a workshop I did this morning.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's, yeah, there it is. So this is called the Fit Mind model. So I created this a few years ago. And if you can see the letter T?
Yeah.
That stands for trust. When they can't trust, say, for example, advertising or something that needs to be done, or other people that can't delegate, then they start to feel anxiety. And in order for them to avoid being anxious, they will not invest. They won't delegate because they don't trust. So they have to let it go. There's something that they're not letting go. And I identified this many, many years ago, working with clients. I thought, they're not letting go. This is the forward part of the Fit Mind model. This is something else. So, in order for them to, in order for you guys to find out, what do you need to let go of? What are you holding on to that's stopping you from investing or trusting or delegating? Because when you don't delegate, it means you don't trust the person. Why? Where did you lose trust in the past? What happened? Where were you let down? Where were you hurt? And it is our underlying emotions which haven't been resolved. So that, perhaps we could do a workshop on that one day.
God, that's awesome. I love that.
Because delegation is one of the most successful people in the world, most successful people I've ever worked with, are good at delegating. They're good at delegating, and they follow their gut instinct, which we talked about earlier on. Trust your gut instinct. They don't trust it. What they do is they go back up in there. They understand, I was hurt. Right, that's it. I don't trust people. And they set a rule up in their blueprint. I talked about the blueprint earlier on, which produces your thoughts and feelings. They don't. They're still there?
Okay, yeah, we're still here. Sorry. Yeah.
Right. So in their blueprint, they don't have the ability to delegate. May I share again?
Sure.
Could I share again?
Yeah, go ahead. It's not letting you share? Can you hear me?
Shall I share again?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we got something called the blueprint, which is, so this is our blueprint. It produces our thoughts and feelings. And in here, they have a belief system. And it might mean, I don't believe that person can, I don't believe anybody can do this except me. So it's built into that belief system. And they don't value other people's skills or efforts. They have to actually succumb to their beliefs because of the fear. So they're always judging you.
Yes. That's exactly it. That's really, I think you hit it on. That's exactly what it is. It's the trust and then the anxiety of letting go. So it's tied into that and figuring out why they're anxious. Why can't they let it go? Why can't they delegate it to somebody else to do it for them?
It's not the business. It's not the supplier. It's actually them.
It is, and that's my struggle. I'm like, it's the business owners actually, and then they're so stubborn because they're entrepreneurs and they manage to get this far because of their stubbornness and trying to, kind of educate them, things could be easier for you. It's actually better for your customers. It's better for you. You're going to save time, and time equals money. And because it's not even that expensive. Like for me, websites and apps, the prices are not that expensive anymore. They're very reasonable.
Mm.
And there's no reason businesses should not have a decent, digital presence online. It shouldn't be one of the reasons that they're suffering. But why they're suffering is because the owners won't actually let go of that and have somebody else do it.
100%.
Yeah.
It's letting go of control.
Yeah.
Somebody might have an issue with control. Nothing to do with their business. It's a personal thing.
Oh, that's awesome. Good stuff. Well, I learned a lot. Stephen was asking, when is the next workshop? This was great. It was a really good workshop. I hope everybody else gets good tools from this and can benefit from it. I really do. And I thank you guys. I thank you so much for taking your time. I know you're busy, taking your time and spending it with me this morning and everybody. And hopefully we can do it soon.
100%.
I don't know. I don't really have anything else. We're almost up to the hour. Unless you guys have something else you wanted to talk about, Well,
it's been a pleasure joining you, ladies. Really, really, really good to work with you to help businesses.
It really has. You have some fantastic tools. Even this simple anxiety and trust, this is helping me personally try to get to my customers, the ones that I'm trying to finalize that sell. So we have to deep into the anxiety and trust and letting go. So I'm going to have to call them up.
Yeah.
And try and see this part or what to do. And Loretta, thank you too. I love your group. I think it's nice especially when you have Facebook group, to have a place where it's positive. You're pushing. I think that's a great message and a positive environment for entrepreneurs. So it's a great platform, and thank you for joining us and sharing your insights.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And then when are we getting together? I'm gonna keep bothering you.
We can, you know what? This weekend.
Awesome.
This weekend.
Okay.
For sure.
All right. Sounds good. Well, thanks, guys. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. What's that?
Have a great day.
You too. You too. Take it easy.
Take care.
What time is it there, David?
Sorry?
What time is it there?
It's almost 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Wow.
Yeah. I've got a group coaching session now in about half an hour, so
Okay.
I'll just prepare for that. But yeah, wonderful to work with you, and let's perhaps have a conversation away from this workshop and see what we can do.
Awesome. And Stephen,
how do we do your group sessions, if that's possible, David? How do we do that?
David, sorry, go ahead. Loretta was asking you a question, and I think I interrupted.
So I didn't hear what you said.
Go ahead, Loretta.
Oh, my question was, how do we join your group sessions? Like if we're
the screen's frozen.
Listening. Oh no.
She's asking. David, can you hear me? Oh, we lost him.
Oh no.
He froze and then he jumped off and got disconnected.
Well, we can figure that out. We can connect with him and ask.
Yeah.
Sessions.
That would be great. He's got really nice tools. I like those things that I can apply on a day-to-day basis.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Personal or professional.
Exactly.
I know for us, like as far as my business goes, we're currently running a special. The sessions are usually $65 for a 1 hour virtual financial coaching session, but now it's $55. So if anyone is interested.
Oh, that's great. That's great to know your promotions. If you don't mind, if you have like a little JPEG of it, I can just post it in our group.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'll post it there so people are aware of it. And this is like one of those things too that businesses really should use. They should use these personal coaching sessions because you don't think you need it, but then when you do it, you're like, wow, it's very insightful. He just pinged and said the screen froze.
Oh,
Take
no.
care and have a great day. Thank you, David. My screen's over here. And Stephen, thank you for your great questions and interaction. We appreciate it. We'll find out when David could have another session and let you know for sure. And then I'll reach out for your advertising and see what we can do about that.
Okay.
So thanks, Loretta.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good day. Take it easy. We'll talk this weekend. All right.
Bye. Bye, Jackie.
Bye. Take care.